All right, everyone. So today we are going to go over systems and just kind of do another brief walkthrough on leads to ROI and then pop the hood on a couple of the different aspects of this platform so that you guys can have a little bit better understanding of how it works and how to use it to be most effective. So we do have a lot of new folks that have joined today. We did bring on a team. So I want to make sure to give a brief overview for them and just go ahead and share some good insights on the platform. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Awesome. So right out of the gate, the first thing that everybody's going to see, of course, when y'all log in is going to be your dashboard. Dashboard is going to show opportunities, pipelines, conversion rates. And we have simplified these down for our users that have been in with us for quite some time. We have simplified to a buyer, a seller pipeline, and then a My Plus leads and a mailbox power pipeline. And if this hasn't been pushed live to everybody, it will be pushed live a little bit later today. And I think William is actually going to go in and build that one with Robbie Cox. And then we'll use that as kind of the gold standard going forward, because when I looked at it, I really liked what you guys had done. But unfortunately, our team had removed that when they weren't supposed to. So we will rebuild it and get it rocking and rolling for you and have that back out and push live so that everyone has access to that. The dashboard's also going to give you a lot of just pertinent information about your account. Now, again, this is the master or primary account that we have that we push out to everybody. So we don't have any leads that are loaded into here or anything along those lines. This is simply just what we created so that you guys can all have the baseline for your account. So that's why all of this stuff shows as 0 and there isn't any info that's loaded into it. Conversations is going to be a section where any call, text, email, message through Facebook, Google My Business message, anything along those lines. If you have conversations going with clients, those are all going to fall under this section here so that you can quickly jump into a conversation once you get a notification letting you know that you have gotten a response or a call from that contact. And if anybody hasn't done so yet, please make sure that you download the Lead Connector app, either on iOS or on Android through the Google Play Store or through the App Store on iPhones. It is called Lead Connector, and we will show the logo here towards the end of this and do another little reminder on that. I'm going to write it down so that I don't forget, so that I can show you guys exactly what you need to download. So Lead Connector app. Awesome. So the next section that you guys are going to see in your platform is going to be the opportunities and pipelines. So the pipeline is essentially so that you can see where your contacts are, what stage they are in. So if a lead comes into the system, they're going to fall under the lead in, and this is going to be for buyers, sellers, and My Plus lead. So when we have a lead in, they fall under the lead in stage. This is actually going to trigger all of the automation, follow-up texts, emails, alert you to call or call you. You just press 1 and it will call that lead. I know that a lot of people have different preferences on how they want to make those calls, whether it's through a block time or whether that is going to be having the system call you while you're on the run so that you don't miss that contact or that opportunity in a quick fashion. But as soon as the lead responds, it automatically moves the lead over to the responded stage and it pulls them out of that initial campaign. So that way you can respond accordingly to that particular contact, unless you have the booking bot running to schedule an appointment for you. Now, once you have booked an appointment, you'd want to move that lead into the appointment stage itself. And then once they became a client, we will move them into client. I'm also going to add an additional stage into this for you guys as well to show closed contacts. And so once we move them into closed, what it's going to do on our dashboard is it's going to show this conversion rate here, because it will log that lead as 1 once it is closed. And then you can assign your commissionable value to that contact so that you can see what your pipeline value is and how much you've earned through the platform and track those ROIs, which is extremely valuable. So for your opportunity pipeline stages, if you want to switch in between buyer or seller, we just click the drop down. We would select the seller stage. It shows us, it'll refresh, it'll show us the seller stage. Or if we want to see the My Plus Leads stage, we can pop into there. Now we've created My Plus Leads in a way, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be changed by the end of the day, based off the way that it was set up with Robbie. But we have a FSBO at this point in time, a mailer. So a regular FSBO, a FSBO mailer, a canceled mailer, so on and so forth. So what this is for is if you guys do want to set up a integration with Mailbox Power into the platform, then when we move the contact into the mailer section, it will automatically put them onto a campaign with Mailbox Power and start sending out mailers to that individual. Now, we know that if we were to put every single contact on a mailer campaign, that may have a very, very high cost at the end of the month for you guys with Mailbox Power. So we want to try to limit the cost for you guys as much as possible and give you the opportunity to where you can cherry pick who you do or don't want to send mailers out to. So for example, if you have a lead that comes in from My Plus Leads and it is a $200,000 house, but your focus is on 400,000 and up, that way we don't send a mailer out to a lower value home than where you want your focus to be on. So you can kind of pick and choose which one of those clients you want to throw into that pool for that mailer section to start that campaign and launch that live. Now, workflows. This is a very, very powerful tool that is built into Leads to ROI. And workflows is going to basically give us a campaign or a follow-up, and it's going to have actions that can be created directly through this campaign and platform. So at the very top here, what you see is we have all of these different boxes. What these actually are workflow triggers. So you can see here, down payment assistance leads to ROI. So if we have somebody that goes on the down payment assistance landing page and submits their information, the form that is on that site is then going to trigger this follow-up. You can have an unlimited number of triggers on your workflows. So let's just say, for example, you guys decided to go into listings to leads and create a new ad in listings to leads, and you want that to automatically be followed up with. So the first thing that you would do once you've created the ad is you would come back into Leads to ROI. We would go into settings, Facebook form fields mapping, and then what you would do is just connect that particular Facebook form, make sure that the fields are all mapped. Once that is done, you'll hop back into the workflows. And then from that BKA buyer lead or the seller appointment booking, you would go ahead and just add a trigger based off of that Facebook form being filled out. So when we click on add new trigger, and I'm going to slow down a little bit because I know I move fast. So when we click on this add new trigger, new workflow trigger here, you're going to see that we can name the trigger whatever we want at the top. And then you can pick and choose whether you want it to be a trigger that comes from the CRM or whether it's from Facebook. So for the listings to leads ads that you guys will be running, if you select Facebook from here, you can then select form submitted, and then you can add a filter, say in form, and then select that particular form that was just created for the ad that you're running in listings to leads. Now, we do have an email that goes out every 14 days asking if you would like for us to build ads for you. And so when that email goes out, if you guys want us to do the work, go ahead, fill out that form, submit it to us, and we'll go ahead and get it knocked out. If you don't want to fill out the form, feel free to send us an email or contact us via phone so that we can go ahead and build something for you and get something set up on a one-on-one individual basis. But that form that gets sent out is a very simple tool, an easy way for you guys to select what type of ad you want created and let our team know what needs to be done. But again, you'll just go in, select from Facebook instead of the CRM, say lead form is submitted, add a filter, in form, and then select the new form from the dropdown after the fields have been mapped. On all of these, our team is going through today, and they're going to be adding in a section to assign user for every single one of these campaigns. So when we look at the workflow, You can see that we have all of these boxes and things filled out for stuff that we're going to do automatically for you right out of the gate. But we also want to make sure that that contact gets assigned to you. So this, and the reason that's so important is that this internal notification step is to send a text message out to the assigned user to let you know that you have gotten a new lead, whether it's a buyer or a seller, depending on the campaign that it's in. We essentially have the same steps for buyer and seller so that we can give you the best opportunity to be notified as soon as that lead comes in and help you get to a point to where you can convert that lead and hopefully get a conversation started with them quickly. Now, on either side of each of these boxes, there's a plus, and each one of these pluses, you can add additional actions in. So if you wanted to say, go ahead and add this, add an action in to add this new lead to a Facebook custom audience, you could go ahead and select any of these external communications or things that can happen inside of the CRM so that you can customize or personalize these campaigns to be exactly what you want them to be. So if we wanted to add it to a custom audience in Facebook, you would just select that. Of course, your Facebook has to be connected. There is a drop down that will allow you to select the custom audience you would want them to be added to. Now, I highly recommend that everybody goes through and takes a look at these campaigns and just make sure that the verbiage that is in here is the verbiage that you would want to be sent out to your contact. All of these campaigns have been tested. They're tried and true. They work very, very well. But what we found is some markets, we need to speed up the rate of contact. And in others, we need to slow down that rate of contact. So if it's a fast-paced area like a major metro, we want to hit them fast, heavy, and hard. If we're somewhere in a little bit more rural area or rural America, maybe we would slow down how often we're messaging those individuals. So that way we don't overstep or turn anybody off right out of the gate. So these initial text messages, you can see we have a text that goes out 2 minutes after the intro call. The intro call is delayed 2 minutes as well. So the lead comes in, all of these actions are performed. We have a 2-minute wait to call that lead. That way we can give them time to look at a website, read over some information, things along those lines. After that wait period, we're going to have an introduction call. You'll get a whisper when it calls into you that's going to let you know that it's your first call to, and it's going to be that lead's first name and their last name. Press 1 and connect. It will go ahead and call that lead. If you have a conversation, awesome. Be sure to log the notes. And then I would also recommend removing them from the campaign after you have that conversation. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a moment. But go ahead and log your notes, save that record. If you leave a voicemail, let the system continue doing what it's doing. It's going to wait an additional 2 minutes. Then it will send out a text message. So we can take a look and see what the wait periods are between each of these correspondences that we're going to send out. So we have a text message that goes 2 minutes after the call. We have a wait for 10 minutes after the text. Then we have an email that gets sent out. Then there's another wait period to send another text, another wait period to send another text, and then we start breaking it down daily. So we send text messages out daily, and then every couple of days, and it expands out based off of that campaign over time, so that we're not overbearing, but we're getting our point across that they filled out their information and we want to have that conversation with them. So we will do a separate training on workflows altogether that is going to cover all of the ins and outs, everything that you can have that would trigger and kick everything off, and then all of the different actions that can be performed inside of this workflow. It's pretty amazing what we can do in here. And I think that we're also going to do a challenge for slide dial voicemails as well, so that everyone can incorporate their own slide dial voicemails into this. So one of the things that you can add is a voicemail. You pre-record a voicemail, you save it into the system, you select what that voicemail recording file is, and then it will automatically send out. It will skip the ringer, go directly to their inbox, and it will send them a voicemail. So if you call, you don't have a conversation with the person, you can just hang up and let the system send that voicemail out for you and make your time a little bit more efficient. We'll go ahead and move on to the marketing tab. Now, marketing, we have a ton of information that's built into here. Number one is going to be campaigns, and there are a lot of campaigns that are built into the system. For right now, I would tell everyone to kind of ignore the campaigns because we're going to be moving every single one of these over to workflows because it's just a more simplistic flow of use for you guys. So when we first had this designed, it went opportunities, then we had a whole trigger section, and then it would launch a campaign based off of that trigger. So with workflows, we're kind of putting two portions of this platform into one so that it's much more user friendly. And at the end of the day, you guys will be able to just go and click a couple of buttons instead of having to create an entire new trigger every time you have something that's going on. There's also an HTML email builder that is built into the platform. So you guys will be able to jump in and create HTML emails. There's templates. You can also do HTML email imports, which we've shown before on how to take some of that HTML email from listings to leads. Go ahead and just copy the code and paste the code into here. And again, we'll be doing some more master classes on that as well in the future. I want to make sure that everyone has a complete understanding of leads to ROI, listings to leads, and any of the additional integrations that we have for you guys. So beyond emails, we also have bulk requests. So anytime you send out a bulk review request, send out a bulk text message, a bulk email, add contacts to a workflow in bulk, all of that information is going to be available here. And you're going to be able to see the name of whoever it was that was added in, the contact type, tags, scheduled dates, next execution status, all of that good information on those. Trigger links is a pretty awesome platform. What are part of the platform, what trigger links can do for you guys is you can send out a link to, say, your calendar or something along those lines in an email. And when they click on that link, you can use that as a trigger. So when they click on the link, you can put them into a specific campaign based off of what it was that they clicked on. So let's say, for example, you sent out an appointment invite and they clicked on the link. You can put an if function into a workflow. And if they did not book an appointment, you can have a follow-up campaign that goes out to them requesting to have that appointment be booked. You can also have an internal notification go to you, letting you know that somebody clicked on that link, and a million other variations of what you can do inside of our platform based off of that. So trigger links are very, very cool. And we're going to be building a lot more stuff around those for you guys so that we can make sure that you all have notifications and things along those lines. But that's all stuff that's coming down the road. And it'll take us a couple of months to get that all built out because we have other things that are in line before that we're getting in the works for you guys. Now, form builder is going to be where all of your guys' forms are for landing pages. And so if you were to go in and take a look, so like C11 down payment assistance form, you'll be able to view the down payment assistance form, all of the contact fields that are loaded into this. And if you would like to, you can go ahead and add additional things to this just by simply dragging and dropping that these fields directly over. Now, if there's a question that we don't already have built into the system that you would like to ask, so let's say, for example, I don't know if we actually have this. Let's take a look. Let's see. So it doesn't look like I have anything lender related that's built in here. So something that was asked of me to be added in, and we'll push this live to everybody once we're done with this, is I'm going to go ahead and create a radio button right now. And I'm going to say, would you like more information regarding pre-qualification?
It's like Brian doesn't love me anymore.
Who said that?
It's Jonathan.
Oh, I definitely do, man. You missed your meeting with us this morning.
I know, man. Like first of the year, FY is a killer for me with the government. So I'm doing appraisals right now. I got 22 of them to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you can always go in, you can add additional questions that you would like. I did this particular one as a radio button. Would you like more information regarding pre-qualification? So we just go ahead and we hit save, and you can see that that question is now available here. and then we can go ahead and add that into a form. Now, this particular form, I'm not going to put that question on because this is regarding down payment assistance. These folks obviously want more information regarding pre-qualification. So when you have your conversation with them, make sure that you set up an appointment with your preferred lender and get that lender on that call with them so that they can go through all their pre-qualification steps. You guys will be able to see all of the different forms that are built into the platform under Form Builder. And then Survey Builder is going to be next. Very similar to Form Builder, but surveys have individual slides. So you can see here that this is going to be the slide that we have for the home valuation. We have some custom script that is added into here. And this actually integrates the Google API information for Google Places. So when they start to type their address into this box, it's going to pull the information from Google, and it's automatically going to populate with addresses below so that they can select their current address. They click the Analyze Property, and then it's going to move to the next slide where we ask all of the pertinent information of them. So first name, last name, phone number, email. And then we want to know like how many beds and baths their current home has, what the desired square feet is, if they've done any upgrades, and what their time frame to sell is. Now, if you guys decide that, hey, you know, I'm going to be able to pull this beds and baths information from the MLS, I don't really need it on this form, so we can shorten it. You can always go in and click the exit button and remove any of these questions that you don't want on the form. So everything in our platform is 100% customizable and gives you guys the ability to make it exactly what you want it to be. So if this is for a team, I would make sure to get with your team leaders and make sure that it's something that everybody kind of agrees on conglomerately. If you're an individual agent, you're the boss of it. You can make those decisions, make those changes yourself. But you can always create new forms or new surveys simply just by clicking the button, Create New Survey. You'll have individual slides. One slide will be created out of the gate. If you ever need to add additional slides, you can just click Add New Slide at the bottom. By default, it is going to show our logo here at the bottom. So if you go under Styles, you can actually remove the agency branding so that our logo doesn't show up on there. If you want to do something like add in a background image to your slides, you can do that, which is really cool. I recommend just keeping them white, a normal slide, so that way it doesn't mess up any of the wording that you have on there, any of the questions. But you can create a survey for anything on here that you were looking to do. Create as many custom fields as possible. And with those custom fields, you've got a ton of different options for things that you guys can actually add into here. So if you want it to just be a regular text box where they can enter some info, you can do that. If you have a question that may be a couple paragraphs for them to answer, you can create a large text box. If we're asking for anything like a phone number or numerical, anything like that, we can make sure that it's numerical. If you have a monetary question, like how much money are you looking to spend or something along those lines, you can do it as a monetary box. So it'll always have a dollar sign in front of it. Check boxes. So this would just give us a list of different items, and they can check as many of those boxes as they want. So let's say, for example, you were sending out a survey to them to say, okay, well, tell me a little bit more about where you're at in your process. And they could say like, oh, I've started looking for homes. I've gotten my pre-qualification, or I've started searching for homes online. I've met with a lender and I've done my pre-qualification, so on and so forth. They can go through and check those boxes, and then you have all that info on the contact record when it comes through. A single option would be a question with a drop down. They can only select one item from that drop down. A multiple option, they can select as many as they would like. So I think the best way to kind of showcase this, I'm going to open funnels up in a second window really fast and pop into our home valuation funnel, just so that I can show you guys exactly what the multiple would look like versus the single. So we'll go ahead and from funnels, I'll just load up, and we'll get into the funnel section here in just a moment. But this is just something that I want to show you for the survey or for the forms because you can do this on either one. So let's open this in a new tab. I'm going to go ahead and enter my address, 416 West 21st. And go here. So then I can select my address from the Google dropdown. I go to Analyze Property. It's going to take me to the second section in the form. Now, right here where we can see how many beds and baths does your current home have, this is going to be a single option. So once they select that one option, they can't select anything else. But have you made any upgrades to your home? You can see that once we've made a selection, it comes in with a green box and an X on it. And we can actually go in and add as many options as we want to this. So that way, if they've done a lot of upgrades on their property, you guys will be able to see that. So the difference between a single option and a multiple is just like that. So you can go in, that is the difference between single options, multiple. A radio button is just what it says. So it's a radio button. It's just a circle. Once they click it, there's a dot in the middle of the circle to signify that that's the option that they selected. You can also add in dates. What these do is actually pull up a calendar. So if I were to go in and add a date field into here, when they click on it, it's actually going to open up a calendar and they can select a specific date on there. So lots of cool stuff that you guys can do with that. Text box list is just going to be a list in a text box. So they won't be able to make any edits or changes. It's just something that you can add to that form to kind of give a little bit more information. And then you can request things like file upload. So if you want them to send you photos of their home or something along those lines, they can upload those files directly through there. And then you could also do something like request a signature. So what we've had a couple of agents do is in the forms, actually create a form that was a listing agreement for that contact. And the contact would then go in, fill out all of their information, and then sign the listing agreement at the bottom. And it would save as a listing agreement in the system under that contact record. I still recommend using whichever primary platform you guys currently use for those listing agreements, because these are legal binding and everything, because it's an electronic signature. But I just prefer other platforms for capturing that, like a DocuSign, or I wouldn't recommend Dotloop because they're owned by Zillow. But there's several others that you can use. Any text and email templates are going to be located under text and email templates. And then HTML builder was basically replaced by the emails builder. So you guys don't have to worry about that section. Now, reporting is a really awesome portion of the platform. If we jump into reporting, you guys are going to be able to see your Google Ads reporting if you're running Google Ads. Facebook ads reporting would all populate in here, and you'd be able to see your average cost per click, number of leads that came through, all of that kind of stuff through your platform. Attribution reporting, this is going to be based off of all of your different lead sources. So we have a conversion report, and then we have a source report. So some agents, we've gone ahead and we've added in things like their realtor.com leads, or leads from other sources. This is a great way for you to jump in and just see who's performing the best for you, so that you know personally where you should be spending your ad dollars. If you're getting a good return from somebody, go ahead and pump up that ad budget and keep getting a good return from them. If you notice that your return is starting to diminish with the platform, maybe that means it's time to go ahead and slow down on that funding that you're putting there and reappropriate those ad dollars to a different type of marketing. Call reporting. I am all about the fortune being in the follow-up. I know on Tuesday I gave a training on lead conversion and how to go in and just make sure that you are utilizing the best practices to convert those leads. One thing that I would say is absolutely most important is going to be your call metrics and the kind of activity that you are putting in with those leads. And so what I do for myself, and I don't make as many calls now because I oversee the companies that we've created over the last 4 years. But for me, when I do make calls, I like to make sure that I focus on my key performance indicators and my primary metrics that are going to get us across the finish line. So I focus on the number of dials that I put in every day. I focus on my average call duration. As you can see here, there's an average call duration. I focus on the average call duration, how long I'm on each one of those calls when we get a pickup. And then I also focus on my total talk time throughout the entire day. So you guys would be able to see your total talk time just by going through and kind of tallying all of this stuff up. But those are the main performance indicators that I focus on when I'm personally calling. So I like to see anywhere from 100 to 120 dials per day. When I go through and look at our sales reps, I go and make sure that they've made it between 100 and 120 dials, that their call duration averages are constantly going up. Once you hit about 3 to 4 minutes for your average call duration, that's about the sweet spot, because that means that you guys are having conversations that are going that 7.5 minute mark. That's going to help you get that appointment booked. If your calls are consistently 2 to 3 minutes with your leads, you're not gathering enough information from those folks right out of the gate. So I really love diving into call metrics and in the call reporting and just making sure that we're doing everything that we need to do on our end so that we can see success. Now, another big portion of this is that if you have your platform set up, and since this is our master account, we don't have call recordings in here. But if you, in your platform, which we have turned on call recordings for everybody, in your guys' platform, you'll be able to go and click on the specific call and listen to that recording. So if you were driving and you had an incoming call that came in from a new lead, you picked up the phone, got the lead on, had a conversation with them, and you then went and walked into a new appointment right after you got off the phone with that lead. You may not have had time to log your notes. So if you need to go back and re-listen to that call so that you can log the appropriate notes, go ahead and do that. I would also recommend that if anyone gets an objection that they have a hard time overcoming, or if you just like for kind of a group of experts to listen in on that call and maybe help you tailor your pitch so that you can be better for the next call, please feel free on these at the end of our sessions when we're done with training to say, hey, I've got a call that I'd like for you guys to listen to. As you guys can see, there's always a ton of agents that are on here. I've worked with thousands of realtors in my career. And when I say that lightly, because when I was at Zillow, my book of business was 1,000 agents that changed every 3 months. And it was all of the top spenders with our platforms. And since then, we have worked with over 1,000 agents between all three of the companies that William and I have founded over the last couple of years, over the last 4 years. So we have a lot of experience in helping agents convert more business, winning more buyers and sellers, and ultimately closing down more deals. So if you guys ever have a call that you're like, hey, I'd like to get some insight or some input on this, please feel free to share that over the live Zoom, where you can get input from other agents and us so that we can help get you guys across the finish line with those contacts. Now, the next section is going to be agent reporting. This is also going to have call metrics that's built into it, but it's going to give us all of the information. So it's the number of opportunities that we have that have came in, the conversions, the text messages, the emails, all of our call metrics, and then also efficiency as well. I'm really big on efficiencies. I want to make everything as fluent and efficient as humanly possible so that what used to take you 10 to 20 minutes to do, we can do in 30 seconds to a minute. And so that's part of the idea and processes behind building this platform out, is how to make you guys more efficient and more effective when you're making your calls. Now, you can also see that you can do a drop down here and you can select all, or you could select each individual member that's on your team at one time. You can fetch that data. You can select based off of particular date ranges. And then also under call reporting, there are filters as well. So these filters are awesome. So you can do it based off of source type, whether it was a qualified lead the first time calling. You can do it based off of lead tags or campaigns that they're in. We can do it based off of all sorts of information, whether it's an inbound, outbound call, whether the call status was completed or in progress, anything along those lines. So One of the things that I like to focus on is call duration. So if I have calls that are with agents, if we have calls that are under 3 minutes, we can go in and listen to those specific calls and make sure that we're refining, making sure there are enough questions that are being asked, and just kind of help leverage that conversation so that we can move into the next step, the next step, the next step, and then get those appointments booked. You can also go and do it again based off of campaign. There's 2 separate spots for that. And if there was a specific referrer on that particular lead, you guys would be able to search for a referrer. So this is good for lender partners and things along those lines. So that way, if you are logging those referrals and who they came from, which you should be, you'd be able to go back in and listen to calls from that specifically leads that specifically came from that referrer. Now, the next thing is going to be appointment reporting. I can't tell you how important it is to make sure that you guys are logging whether the appointment showed, no showed, or canceled. And that's all done under scheduling, but you'll be able to get all of your appointment data here. And you can also see it based off of source as well. Where this is extremely important is if you guys ever have like an appointment booker, somebody that you're paying to book those appointments for you, you can see what that show rate looks like from that appointment booker, whether it's an ISA or whether you have a third party service that's doing that for you. We can see how well those appointments are actually showing up and all of that good stuff based off of each individual lead source. So that's very, very important. Now, I don't believe I have anything loaded in here as a test under the appointments. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this really fast under calendars. And we'll go to this one. And I'm just going to book an appointment on here and throw my info in, book an appointment. So what you guys will see when an appointment gets booked under scheduling, under the calendar section, the day and time that that appointment was booked is going to populate. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Then we should show up on the calendar here in just a second. Sometimes it takes a little time for these to load. So I'm just going to refresh the page. And I don't even know the day I selected. So pretty sure it was sometime this week. Let's go monthly though. There we go. So now it's showing up. So when you have 2 different sections here that you can find that particular appointment. And let's look at the date that I selected. So October 7th. So I selected the appointment for today. And I'm going to jump into the realtor. All right, so here we go. We've got the appointment that is here, and I booked that for 2:30 today. Now, it's really important that when you have appointments that show up on your calendar, we go under the appointments section and we disposition that appointment based off of what actually happened. So if they canceled the appointment, log it as canceled. If they showed, log it as showed. If it was a no-show, you can log it as a no-show. And as soon as you disposition and log that with its respective field, it's going to go ahead and remove that from your calendars or from your appointments that are set here. So you can see the lead that contact is still on the calendar to show that you had an appointment that was booked, but under your appointment section, once you've dispositioned it, it shows that that has been removed. So just add it back in. So now we have the showed. So you can go back and review whether it showed, canceled, no showed, all of those good things. Your reputation management, this is tied directly to Google My Business. So just make sure that you are sending out as many review requests as humanly possible with this platform. But I would also cherry pick those review requests. If you have a contact that is kind of, or a person that you're selling a home to that was somewhat gruff, or maybe you guys just didn't see eye to eye on certain things, or they were a drama queen, a little bit difficult, something along those lines, I would not send that particular individual a review request because they may be a little bit over the top with their review, and they may nitpick certain things where you actually went above and beyond for them and took care of them. So just make sure that you're sending those review requests out to those happy clients so that you can keep your ratings up over 4 stars and have those positive reviews in there based off of those. But this is a great place to go and take a look at how many invites you sent out. You can see how many recent reviews you've received, the average rating, whether it was positive or negative, invite trends, review trends, and latest review requests. So you can see here, we've got a couple different options. This is the overview to give us all the info. We can hop into requests, and this is just going to show us a list of all of the requests that we've sent. And then you can view all of your reviews from Google My Business right here. Online listings. This is something that we have added in to give you guys an opportunity to use some very, very powerful low cost search engine optimization. I don't think that anybody really needs to sign up for this just yet, but this is preemptive. We are working on an IDX integration. We've got feelers out with several different companies right now that we are testing with, so that we can get IDX providers out for you guys, so you can have a full IDX website. We're not just going to go with the first one that makes sense to us. I have a series and kind of a box of criteria that I need that IDX provider to fit within before we launch that. And that's why it's taking some time, because I want to make sure that when we have an IDX provider, it's not just going to give us a search and map tool and listings on the website. We want to make sure that we can do different functionality based off of the information that we gather from that lead right out of the gate, like their number of beds and baths and their price range. We want to be able to pre-automate a save search alert. If they say that, if they filled out a form on an ad that was about, let's just say, for example, getting a list of recently sold properties in their neighborhood so that they can keep a pulse on homes like theirs that have recently sold. Those are the kinds of things that we want to be able to do with that IDX. We've got about 4 of them right now that we are interviewing with that seem to fit the box for everything that we are looking for, William, myself. And we are going to pick the one that is going to give you guys the best opportunities, but also have the best cost for you as well. And that's something that not everybody has to do, of course, but if you choose that you want to bring the IDX into the platform, you absolutely can. We don't know if you'd be paying us or if you'd be paying that company. We're still getting all that stuff sorted out, but we preemptively got this rocking and rolling for you guys so that you could use some artificial intelligence to go ahead and start driving more traffic to websites when they come. Now, the contact section, contact smart list, very, very important. Again, I know that we've shown like how to create individualized smart lists. Each user will have their own smart lists that they can create. And so the first bit of information we're going to see right out of the gate is going to be name, phone number, email, the date that they were created, their last activity, and any tags that are on that contact. At the top, we have bulk actions and bulk requests that we can do. So we can add individuals to a pipeline stage. We can add them to a campaign or a workflow. We can send a bulk text, a bulk email, add or remove tags, and we can also send out review requests. Now, if we wanted to update this list, let's just say I wanted to focus on all of these leads that had responded, what I would actually do is go ahead and click on more filters here. And I'm going to let this reload so that I can see it all. And this will take a second because Zoom slows it all down. So if we wanted to add in a particular filter for that, we could say, okay, let's add in a filter on tag. Let's select that specific tag. And then we'll go ahead and drop down and select the responded tag. So now I want to actually save this as a smart list, so it's available here. But let's say there's some additional info that I want to see right out of the gate. So if this was seller ads, for example, I want to be able to see the address of that contact. And of course I clicked off. So we'll do that again. So we'll type in tag. Again, you can do this off of any field that's built into the system. There's a ton of different ways that you can search for information that you guys are looking for. So please familiarize yourself here. We're going to say tag is, we're going to scroll down to responded. Then let's say I wanted to add in that column for full address. The address is now here. I can then save this as responded. And it's that plus button right here. We go ahead and we hit save. Now the responded is one of our smart lists at the top. so that you guys can save whatever kind of smart lists you want and search for those contacts based off of what you're looking for. If we look under the all tab, you can see that we don't have the addresses here. But when we jump back into responded, because we saved that smart list with this column, that is now going to be available for you to view quickly. You can always hide the filters as well, so that you have the full expansion of your contact list right here. And then you can also do things like push that call button, drive directly into the contact, and then call directly from the system. And my phone is going to be ringing right here. So I am getting a call incoming from my 206 number from making a call directly through the system. You can hang up and end that call as well. So it's all very cool stuff. Now, each individual contact record, there's going to be, of course, the contact info on the left. Right out of the gate, we're gonna have their first name, their last name, their email, phone number. If you have their date of birth, add this in. We do have automation that is set up to send out a happy birthday text every year. So that's a great way to stay in contact with those leads and show them that you care. And all you have to do is enter their birthday, and your system will automatically send out a text to them. If there's a lead source, you're going to see what the contact lead source was right here inside of this box. And then any tags that have been added to that contact, you can always remove those tags by checking the box or adding them in by starting to type, and you'll have a list of your tags here. If you wanted to add a new tag, just hit the plus, the blue, and it will create a new tag inside of your database. Then we also have contact type. We have lead and customer. We don't have it broken down for buyer or seller because we do that in our pipeline stages itself. And then if you have somebody that says that they aren't interested or stop, anything along those lines, you can turn on this D&D, which will opt them out of all marketing campaigns. It will still delete their phone number and then hit save at the bottom. And then your emails can still go out to those.
Looks like we're losing Brian again. His internet will catch up here shortly, though. All right, well, I am going to do something a little different here to take over for Brian.
Those individuals.
All right, so one of the things that I'd like to show here, oh, Brian's back. Anyways, I'll go into this real quick. One of the things that I'd like to show to all of our new users here, these are a few things that I think are important that they should make sure that they're focused on. So we have a new team that joined us, and so a lot of you guys are going to be focusing in the contact and smart list section in here. So Brian was showing how you can go in and you can add the filters, you can create your own smart list. So for any of you new guys, that's going to be a really powerful thing. We were just on with one of our users yesterday, and he didn't know that you could create those smart lists. And so that actually changed a whole outcome for him, from having to scroll through the entire contact list over and over again to try to find the one user that had responded and he had a great conversation with. That was going to be somebody that he worked with, right? So he was then able to make that smart list so that instead of having to go through and search through everything, he could just click one button and find it there. Now, back to this section, the activity is going to be very important for you guys. Unfortunately, it's not showing anything under this contact. Let me go into somebody that has ads running. Robbie, are you there?
I'm here.
Do you mind if I go into your account again?
I don't mind.
Okay. I won't delete anything else, I promise. Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, I hope this is the last time that joke is used.
Okay, so that's not showing the activity.
You can just go ahead and click through. So that's because these are the My Plus Leads contacts.
Yep, there we go. All right, so we can see right here for any of the leads that come in from listings to leads, they should be tied with the Facebook lead form, and you will see the activity for where that lead is coming in from. And we also have the notes section. So that's part of one of the other things that we're doing the update for, so that every source will have a call script, whether that's listings to leads or any other area for that. But
go ahead and click on that call script.
Okay. So here's your guys' call script. And this is built specifically so that you guys can have an angle for when you're calling each potential lead, instead of just a blank, hi, how are you today? You've got some sophisticated things that we wrote out purposefully, right? So also in here, you can actually submit information. So while you're reading through that script with those potential leads, you can ask these questions, click submit, and that will actually log that information in the notes section for you without you having to manually do that again. And then down here at the bottom, you can also click to schedule to your own calendars. So things like this are really powerful, so that you can go through your day and call each lead that is assigned to you throughout that day. Highly suggest that everybody sets a time, whatever time it is throughout your day, just schedule and set aside 20 minutes so that you can call all new leads that come in for that day. And if you make it so that you actually are calling through those leads at least a few times, you're going to find out real fast that once you hit about a week, you're going to have a lot of calls to make. It might seem like nothing on day one, but once you hit day 7, you're going to have all of those people from a few days ago that you still need to call back again and try one more time as well. So it does add up pretty quick. And as Brian mentioned in the previous Zoom on Tuesday, you really do have to have multiple touches with this industry type. It's just the name of the game. It's what it is. So something to keep in mind. Now back in here, you also have the ability to check any appointments that are currently scheduled for you in here under the appointment tab, or you can create another appointment there if for some reason you want to do it through. And then another thing that I always love inside of this platform is the tasks section. So if you want to make sure you're not forgetting to call somebody, you can add a task, and as long as you have the app downloaded, it will notify you. So Brian, I'll let you jump back to what you were doing. I just wanted to.
Oh no, definitely. Thanks. Thanks for the recovery for my email or my internet going down.
No,
I've got the company with the fiber optics coming out soon to get me set up on some faster internet, since we finally got fiber optics in my market. So that's exciting. Where I was when my internet died out was we were moving into the offer section. Now, if you guys have any like unique selling propositions, like I don't recommend ever discounting your guys' commission, but for example, Kelly has a program. He's trying to hit Icon Agent with EXP. So he's just trying to get as many listings done as humanly possible. So he is offering out like a 1% commission to himself. So selling the home for 4%, doing 3% to the buyer's agent and 1% for himself, just so that he can get those listings under his belt. You guys can add offers into the program, and you can select whichever unique selling proposition you had for that contact. The next section is going to be active campaigns and workflows. So if we have an active campaign, it's going to populate right here. So if we click the plus button, you can go ahead and see that I can add any of these campaigns onto myself, or workflows themselves. So let's just say that I was using the BKA buyer lead in campaign. You'd then select your start date and click add. That is going to go ahead and add that campaign in. Now, this particular campaign or this pipeline is one that we can't actually run more than once. And it is a pipeline that I've ran, or a workflow that I've ran before on myself. So that's why it doesn't populate here. But you'll be able to see any active campaign or workflow right here. Once it has gone through, you'll see them in past campaigns below. Opportunities, this is going to be whichever pipeline stage that particular lead is in. So if we're in the buyer stage and we're in the lead in section, you will be able to see that under opportunities. There's a little button right here off to the right where you can click edit, and you can change that pipeline stage from here as well. So if you have booked an appointment with them and you want to move them into the appointment stage, you can do that directly from the opportunity section here. Now, with any edit that you make on this, other than adding in an opportunity, you're going to have a save button at the bottom. So make sure that if we go ahead and we enter in a date of birth for that particular contact, that we click save at the bottom of that page, so that that information is saved inside of the platform. So that is extremely important. Don't miss out on saving anything that you update in here, or that info won't be there next time you log in. You also have the general info tab. This is going to be like their address, the city, state, zip, all of that good information. And then additional info is going to be all of the custom fields that have been filled out, or all of the custom fields that are on the account. So we've got a ton of different options for info that you guys can go ahead and plug in. And we've tied in all of the My Plus Leads custom fields and from other integrations that we have. So there's a ton of info that's on here. A little trick that makes this a little bit easier to navigate: if you're on a call and you just want to gather information, click the hide empty fields button, and it's just going to show the fields that are filled out, which will give you guys the easiest way to just go and search through here and find information that you need for that particular contact. William's already covered the activity log, the tasks, but I'm going to slow things down a little bit on here because I know he was moving a little fast. I do the same thing myself. Under tasks, you'll be able to see any task that you would have that was upcoming. You've also got to click here to create a task, or you can click add new in the top right corner, fill out the name of your task, select who it's assigned to, and then you'll create a due date on that as well, so that you can make sure that it's set for the right day. So anytime you see like a date functionality that's in this platform, it's actually going to pull up a calendar view so that you can then select a specific day and time, all of that good stuff for when that needs to be done. And I don't know if I'm frozen or not. I don't think I am. Okay, so next is going to be your notes section. This is where you're going to find, again, your call scripts and any notes that have been logged into that contact record. So when you have a contact record that comes in, if you need to log a note, you can just hit the add note, go ahead and enter the information, click save. It will all save to that contact record. Appointments, the same thing, just like with tasks. If you have an appointment that's here, it's going to populate. And if we need to create a new appointment, we just hit add new. Make sure that you select the correct calendar. So if you're using the Realtor calendar, select the Realtor calendar, and then add any additional notes and click save. And that appointment will save to your calendar. They'll get notifications, you'll get notifications, everybody will be informed about it. That way nobody misses. So that should just about cover the contact section. One last thing in here: if you guys don't have a assigned user to a contact, make sure to assign yourself to that user. So that way, any correspondence that goes out that has like user email or user phone, your info goes out to that person from that campaign. So make sure that the contacts are assigned. Go ahead and log notes, be on top of all of those contacts. And again, the most important notes to log once you get off the phone, of course, what they're looking for in a home, or when they're trying to sell, all that kind of information about selling their home. But I like to focus on rapport builders. So anywhere that you can take those cues from those calls, just like the training we did on Tuesday, be sure to log those in the notes. So the next time you call that lead, you can bring up those rapport builders right out of the gate and have a more meaningful conversation with that buyer or seller when you're on the phone with them, and just build a little bit more trust in yourself. Now you also have a manual actions section. I'm going to show this in another account as well. So manual actions is going to show you any manual calls that you have to make with the platform. So I'm going to go into Known University really fast. We don't use this account anymore, but there were a ton of manual calls that were logged in here. So it just makes it easy for us to show you guys. So manual calls in this system, if you decide to like block out your time and use those high value time slots, like we were talking about in the sales training or conversion training, you can have those leads loaded into a manual call list, and you can do that from a workflow. All you have to do is click this Let's Start button, and it's just going to call down each one of these leads. So the first thing would happen is it would call this Elizabeth gal. So it would make the call. You'd actually have the phone call. You'd have the phone call populate right here over the top. You'd have the call window. And then as soon as this call was completed, you have the ability to log some notes. And once you've logged your notes, it will then jump to the next person and will automatically start calling. So this will actually power dial through your list and just make things much more efficient for you. Contact requests. So this is for any kind of a contact bulk update, import, anything along those lines. All of that info will be available under the call requests or under contact requests. And then if you've deleted any contacts, you will have a restore contacts section so that you can go and restore those contacts if they were deleted by mistake, which is awesome. The last thing that I'm going to get into today, because we've gotten rid of, we're essentially doing away with the triggers and the campaigns. We're going to leave them here for those users that prefer and have learned how to do things with the triggers and campaigns. But we're going to be keeping our focus on workflows going forward because it's a little bit more simplistic. But we can go ahead and jump into the funnels. If you guys ever want to build your own funnel, or let's just say you have a you have a competitor that has a click funnel, and you know it's a click funnel, and you kind of want to go and do the Russell Brunson thing and funnel hack those folks, make sure that you're doing it ethically for one, but number two, don't use any of their ad copy, don't use any of their headlines, don't use any of their photos or information. But what you could do is, since Russell Brunson teaches people how to funnel hack, let's go ahead and go to facebook.com/ads/library. And let's just take a look at Russell Brunson's ads and grab one of his landing pages. So I'm going to go ahead and choose all ads for the category. And I'm just going to say Russell Brunson. And you'll see Russell Brunson populates here. So here's free legacy page, 2K followers. Do we have any ads running for him? Let's go ahead and just say click funnels. And it might be listed as one word, but here we go. Here's a community. No ads running. What's going on? What, did Russell get banned? I wonder if he got banned. Here he is. Okay, that was going to freak me out for a minute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into one of his landing pages. Let's just say we wanted, one of our competitors had a funnel that we really liked, and we knew that it was a click funnel. There's usually going to be a click funnel logo up here that you'll be able to see, just like this. a blue gear wheel, and a red gear wheel inside of a window. So you could go in and you could copy that individual's funnel, select new funnel, and then we could say, okay, this is going to be Russell Brunson to be deleted, because I'm going to delete this right after I do this. I just want to do this as a way to show you guys. So you can actually go in and paste in that URL, confirm that the page either belongs to you or you have permission to the asset, which Russell Brunson teaches everybody to do this exact thing. I have several of his books, so I take that as permission from Russell Brunson to funnel hack. So I'm just going to call this funnel hack and click create funnel step. So what this is going to do is it's actually going to import this funnel and rebuild it inside of our funnel builder system, so that we can make edits and changes to it. Now, not everything's going to come through perfect, especially if he has custom code and things like that that's built into it. But usually it comes out pretty close, and they typically look really, really well right out of the gate. So we'll see how this one turns out. It's going ahead and loading and populating now. It just took a little bit of time. And so you can see Russell Brunson, Rachel Miller, Yara Golden presents 5-day lead challenge, 5-day lead challenge. So all that looks the same. We can see that the image populated from here. We have the attention entrepreneurs, small business owners. So this basically 100% came through, and we just funnel hacked Russell Brunson. Now, what we would do in this particular instance is you would go through and you would redo all of these sections. You don't want to copyright anybody. You don't want to steal anybody's information, but you would change the names and info up here. You would change the logo that was here. You would change the attention. You would change all of this text, all of these images, but this gives you an awesome framework to follow so that you can create your own funnels or your own landing pages that you'd like to use. Looks like there was some JavaScript that came through as well. So we had some custom code that was built into this ClickFunnels. And so that custom code actually transitioned directly over as well with it. So that's just to show you guys some of the cool functionality that we have that's built into here. You can clone any ClickFunnels that you guys find directly into your site. And it only works with ClickFunnels though. But I'm going to go ahead and delete this because this is in our primary account and not everybody needs to have a Russell Brunson funnel. So go in and settings, delete funnel, and delete that. So another thing with the funnels that are built into the platform, everything is easily customizable. So every section of this funnel, as you can see, we've got different boxes that highlight as we're rolling over with the mouse. So if I wanted to edit any of this info in here, I could always click enter and then just start typing. I can delete things, I can remove things. If I need to add additional boxes, I just click the plus below. Then I can add things like forms, bullet lists, paragraphs, headlines, subheadlines, buttons, forms, videos, images, custom code, surveys, calendars, maps, all sorts of stuff that you can do inside of here. This is basically a cloned version of ClickFunnels, which would typically cost you $300 a month for their pro account. You guys get almost all of the exact same functionality that you would get from ClickFunnels, plus the ability to go in and funnel hack all of your competitors by copying and pasting a URL and just clicking a couple buttons. So does anybody have any questions on anything that we have covered today, or are there any areas that you guys want us to dive a little bit deeper into?
I do have a question on that integration, because I paid for that. What is that called? Hit integrations. Let me see. What's that called?
My Plus Leads?
Yeah. So how do you really get it after paying for it?
Yeah, so
Didn't we do that?
what's that?
We would need to gather your API key from My Plus Leads. Can you do me a favor, D, and share your screen really fast, and we can actually hop in there and grab that info for you?
Okay, let me get in it. I'm not in it. Let me get in it first before I share the screen.
And Roberto, you're using My Plus the Leads now also, correct?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. And do you have any campaigns that you've built in Mailbox Power by chance?
No, not in Mailbox Power. No,
Gotcha. Do you use Mailbox Power?
I haven't. I haven't.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Okay, now I'm gonna hit share screen. And do you see it?
I do. If you can go ahead and open up a new tab for me by hitting the plus. And let's go to myplusleads.com. And we are currently, we have our team, William and I had a meeting with our team this morning. William's heading up the project. We are getting a marketplace added in and also an integrations, a new integrations page for you guys. And for each integration, we're going to have a little video and a form that you'll fill out that'll just show you the information that we need from you so that we can create those integrations. So we will go ahead and we will build the zaps for you so you guys don't have to worry about buying Zapier, and you don't have to spend any money on zaps monthly. We'll take care of all that for you. But there is some info that we will need for from each specific integration. And so we'll be able to capture that info from you and get everything rocking and rolling.
Guess I ain't never been in here. Sure. Oh, well, I don't want to hold up everybody. I'll just find out next time.
Well,
no, let's go ahead and go through it. It doesn't bother me. It just take a couple minutes for you to get logged in. Now, I think that you and I spent some time setting this up, but I think that what happened is I didn't actually get the API. I thought that we forwarded it in an email, but I'm digging through my email right now and I'm not seeing the actual API key. So I think that's why it's not set up yet. So I would like to knock this out for you though.
Why it's not letting me in?
Did they send you an email to reset?
I just got to reset it.
No, is it maybe because the username isn't an actual email address? Because anytime I sign into My Plus Leads, I use an email address and not a username.
Oh, for real? Oh, okay, let's see.
I think we got it. All right, so if you can go to options and preferences for me under leads, and go ahead and click on options and preferences. And then I believe data integrations is where we're gonna go. And then there's gonna be a drop down for provider. Go ahead and select provider in the drop down to the left. So just under where it says data integrations options.
Okay.
So just to the right, and then up a little bit. So that drop down, and then we're going to select Zapier, which should be right towards, yep, right there. And then go ahead and copy that key and send that to me in an email. And then we'll get that all set for you.
And send it to.
Yep. So that, you guys, if anybody needs to integrate My Plus Leads, we just need that key and we can do an integration for you and we can get this app all set up and get that knocked out.
Yep. So just please send that to me in an email, D, and I'll get that Zap built for you right now. Okay.
Is,
That'll be william@beknownadvertising.com. I'll go ahead and plug it in the chat.
I got it. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for today?
Thank you, guys.
You are
Absolutely.
very welcome.
Oh, and your new construction ad will be up soon too.
Oh, it just came in.
It's already done.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. And we will see you next week. Let's everybody make sure to have a good weekend.
See you guys on Tuesday, and we're going to be doing some training on KV Core integration and automating some safe search alerts, things along those lines.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice day.
Have a
Bye,
great
thank
weekend.
you.
Thank you.